your engine.
The third episode of the NAPA Speedway podcast. I'm Ross Andrassi, and I'm excited to be here with you today. Remember, catch all the podcasts online on the Mix Media Network, on the website at themixmedianetwork.com. This is brought to you by McKernan Sports and Entertainment. So thank you for tuning in and listening to the third episode of the NAPA Speedway podcast. All right, let's get things underway. And today we're going to be talking some asphalt. And with me in studio, we have Patricia. How you doing?
Good. How are you?
Good, Patricia. Now, you are a asphalt racer. Okay. Now, tell us a little bit about your thoughts, about racing. Like, why do you race?
I got introduced to racing. My grandpa used to race a long time ago at the old dirt track in Albuquerque, and I developed an interest back in 2004. A guy named Stoney had offered to let me borrow one of his cars for the season and race it out at Sandia and try out the asphalt. Loved it. One of my best friends, Melita, at the time, it was racing out there. Okay. So we started racing together, and the following year, I convinced my dad to build me my first factory 4 car, and it's kind of taken off from there.
Okay. Now Patricia, you your last name's Gallegos, and what's your number? Everybody has a number.
I have a number. I'm number 19. So
is there anything significant behind that?
It was my softball number in high school, and so just kind of kept going. The other unique thing is my cars always have 3 Coors Light beer cans on them, or Keystone cans. So everybody will know the Blue 19 out there. It's kind of been, when I first started racing, I wanted something unique on my car. And I was like, well, I need a hood ornament. I'm like, something funny. And
well, you see people sometimes have different things. They'll have like stuffed animals tied to them. I mean,
exactly.
Is there something behind that?
So I have the, after racing celebration already on my car. So we have them out there. And it's funny. I walk in the grocery store, or I talk to the fans in the stands, and they're like, oh yeah, you're the car that has the beer cans. And I'm like, oh yeah, that's my car. So it's kind of a nice little thing. So every car we've ever built for me has those cans on it.
Have you gotten to those beer for sponsorship?
I know we should, huh?
You should. Might as well.
Should. Right? I'm like, where are they at? I'm like, maybe they can help us with our after racing beverages.
There you go. Now, going back to starting your racing career in 2005, something about before we kept the other podcast, we kept talking about family and being involved, and really racing is very much so a family sport, family activity.
Oh, very true. It has to be. There's no way I could do it by myself. First, I don't know anything. I know a little bit about the cars, the mechanic part, but my dad's, he owns his own business, MasterTech Automotive, which is, obviously my number one sponsor with my parents. And so we've developed a huge family advance. I race a Factory 4, and I'm going to race the Dirt 2 this year with the Factory 4. But my dad has a Factory 4 and a brand new modified. My brother, Andrew Fowner, has a X-Mod and a Factory 4. All right. My sister, Jolene Fowner, races the Factory 4s out there with us. And my mom has raced the last 2 years in a Factory 4, but she's going to take this year off to kind of let my dad and brother focus on their new mods and X mods. Oh, wow. So we're all five of us are out there, and we all have 5 cars. So it keeps us very busy, and we have lots of late nights at the shop, and but it's great. We have all the kids, all of the grandkids are there. It's a whole family thing, and we're working on the cars to get them all out.
I gotta say that's awesome because of the fact that racing does take a lot of time. It does take a lot of time. But if everybody's doing it together, you're still spending time with it. You're like killing 2 birds with 1 stone there.
It's very true. We get to have great family times on Saturday. My husband he likes watching me race. He doesn't like watching everybody race, so we have to drag him out to the racetrack. But
you're coming.
I know. Hopefully in a couple of years we can get him to give up softball and come join us in the racing, and then we'll just build him a car. But my kids, I have a a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old, and they love the racetracks.
Okay.
They would love to be out there every single day. They just want to see the crashes. My son loves when people crash and just the excitement of it. So, it's a huge family thing, and everybody enjoys it from our side.
Yeah, that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Now, tell us a little bit about. I know you mentioned you had your first factory 4 car, which was a Volkswagen Fox.
Correct. When I asked my dad to build me a car, he had a Volkswagen Fox he's a mechanic, so he had one that was sitting in his yard, and I don't even remember what he had to do for it. I think it was actually running and everything. We just ended up having to gut it and do a roll cage. So we already had it, and that's kind of how we got the Fox. It was kind of interesting. It was just a car. We, gutted it, made the roll cage, and that became my first one. And then from there, we had a couple more. My dad crashed one of my Foxes at a Hollywood Speedway one day, and so we had to put some pieces on from another one. And so I think altogether we were trying to debate, but I think we've had 3 or 4 Foxes.
Wow.
And then finally now I am driving a Honda Prelude. Which seems to be the best one out of all of them. It's extremely fast.
Yes.
It handles really well on the asphalt. For the dirt side this year, I'm borrowing my dad's car, which is a Honda Accord. Okay. So the Hondas seem to be overall the best, most consistent car we've had.
Wow.
Yeah, they're very fast. The motors have been really good in them, and we haven't had too many problems with the heads and stuff. And
as long as they're good and getting you doing the job. I mean,
exactly.
That's what you need.
It is doing the
job. You don't
job.
want it to break down in the middle of a race. I mean,
very true. I'm like, because we have 5 cars out there. I'm like, we can't spend every day at the shop. So if we can keep them going, that's the most important thing. So it's done really well.
So in 2006, the next year, you did race in the powder puff division, and you won a few heats.
I did. When I started, in 05, then 06, they still had a women's division. At the time, they were calling it powder puff. And so I didn't race the men's at all. I only stuck to the women's. Won a couple heats. Again, I was using the Fox or our backup car, which was the Sirocco at the time.
Okay.
Consistency, it was hard to get them consistent, always wanting to run or start when we needed them to start. But it was good. I mean, it got me some races under my belt and stuff, and getting me some track time experience.
Got your experience. So
exactly. Getting your feet wet and learning how to drive in asphalt and do the figure 8. Okay. Because we go from the quarter mile to the half mile every other lap. So that's you don't practice that on I-25 all the time. So
if you did that, you would be in jail.
And there you go. So it's a little, it takes the time, and it was good having that experience with just the women.
Okay.
So.
Now I gotta say, you said you did play softball.
Mm-hmm.
You used to play softball. Now, racing and softball. Tell us a little bit about the differences and why you feel racing is something that is, I don't know, I would say more of a sport than softball. Talk about that.
Oh, yeah. I'm all racing. Well, and I think it comes back to, because racing's a family thing. We played softball, family softball together, but racing, it's nice. You get out there, you take your frustrations out and can go as fast as you want on the race car. And it's just a whole different experience, and you can get everybody involved. My grandparents come out and watch us, my aunt and uncles, I mean, we have the whole crew out there.
Yeah.
So it's just a whole different experience. And, of course, as you get older, you can't play softball like you used to when you were 15.
You can't run as fast. You can't.
You can't do it like you're 15. So I'm like, racing, you're good. You're good. You don't have to run.
So you would say you're an adrenaline junkie?
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. I love to be out in the race car. Of course, every race still have the butterflies. It's been a couple years I've been racing, still nervous the very first race, but it's good. I'm like, when you get in there, as soon as it's green, you forget all about it, and it's all about the competition. I'm very competitive. And so this competitiveness, is great.
It's all about being competitive. I'm going to go beat you. Right?
I know. I have to, and especially now, and now I'm racing. They didn't have as many cars to do a women's division anymore, so a couple years ago we converted, and now we were the Factory 4 mini stocks, and now we're going to be the Hornets. But it's men and women together. Men and women being the women are myself, my mom, and my sister with all the other guys. So hopefully we can get some more women out there to join us and stuff. But it's nice. It's the competitiveness of...
I mean, do you feel that, like, even racing with men, it's kind of like, Okay. Well, I'm keeping up with you guys.
Yeah.
You guys think you're all it, but you're not.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. It's very competitive, and it's a way different driving. It's a way different class, even just racing with all the women versus all the men and women together, because they are a lot more competitive and they're a lot more aggressive. And of course, I'm right up there with them. So it fits well. It fits well.
Okay, now going back in time, we'll take a little time machine back. And 2008 was a big year for you guys, and your family.
It was. That was the year that we finally got all these 5 cars built.
Okay.
And racing. I think in 2008 is when I won the point championship for the ladies. So that was nice. First ever. So that was, the awesome experience from there.
Okay.
So.
Did you ever race against Brenda Gant?
I think a couple times we were together on her and her daughter Ashley. A couple times when we were running the women's division, we were together. I think a couple mini stock races.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Wow. It's a small world when it comes to racing.
It is really totally a small world. Even Joel that you had in the last pod, I played softball with him.
Really?
We have, it's called The Heat, and we used to play co-ed softball.
Yes.
And then we all got mixed up in racing. So, I mean, it's a very small world. We intertwine many of our activities together.
Okay. So the family finally in 2009 came up with a name for each other. And what did you guys come up with?
Well, so I'm
for the team racing.
Exactly. We had to have a team racing name. Obviously, my parents' last name is Fowner, and when I got married, I'm a Gallegos, and I'm like, well, what are we going to do? We can't be the Fowner racing team anymore because I'm not a Fowner. I'm the Gallegos. And people would be like, you guys aren't related. I'm like, yeah, that's my parents. I just have, obviously, I'm married. I have a different last name. So we came up with F&G Racing, Fowner and Gallegos Racing, because it fit everybody. And then it's simple and easy. So now we're F&G Racing, and it kind of works for us. So.
Okay. So you do have 5 mini stocks, and back then you were using you put your Fox down. We
did. We
put it in the ground, buried it.
We had to retire it. We let one of my brother's friends borrowed it for a race and got in a good accident on the crossover, so it was time for it to go bye-bye. It was beyond repair, thanks to Josh. It was beyond repair, so we decided to give it up, and that's when I started using my mom's Honda Accord.
Okay.
And we got her a smaller Honda. I think it's a Honda Accord too, but it's a year older than the one. So I borrowed my mom's car, which is the one I'm currently driving, and now it's mine, and I love it. And she got another littler one, which she likes better, so it worked out okay.
So 2009 was a little tough for you.
Tough. I'm all a little.
But your other family members did really well.
They did. I think that's the year my mom ended up winning her Lightning Fast Lady championship, which was awesome. And my sister Jolene Fowner that year won Rookie of the Year.
Hey.
So it was good. I'm like, we've had some good successes.
Wow.
I'm like, so it's been really good.
But definitely 2010 was your year. You were able to come a little bit.
It is very true. 2010 was the best racing season I've ever had, obviously. I won the point championship. It was a close battle between myself and Eric Romero. I pulled out on top, and it was awesome. My dad ended up getting second.
Wow.
And I think my sister placed up in the top 10 as well. So, I mean, it was a really good season. All the trophies are at my dad's mechanic shop. So when you walk in his door, you can see them all up. And it's nice because his customers get to see.
You got a combined total of 28 heat and main wins through 41 races.
Yeah, that's a lot. That is a good season. We had very successful. Not a whole lot of car problems, which is great. That's half the battle, keeping the car on the track. And having a great sponsor for all the tires that we went through.
You burn tires quick.
Because all the tires, $100 a tire, and
it adds up.
It adds up very quickly.
How many tires? Do you use just one set of tires for each race, or how many tires do you typically use?
I think last year we ended up going through, on my Prelude alone, I think we ended up going through a total of 10 tires.
Okay.
For the whole season. So,
whole season. Okay.
Yeah, so give or take a little over $1,000 on tires.
Okay.
So we tried to rotate them. I would rotate them, and then my mom would use them because obviously I was the faster car, so there was still life left on them where somebody else could use them, but they just weren't working for me at the time.
And it worked out for you guys being in the family. You just rotated
we
them
just
down
passed them down.
It works like hand-me-downs. It's like
the hand-me-downs. So they got, or they would get 2 new ones and 2 of my, not so good ones, and so it kind of worked out.
Hey.
Yeah. So and now we're using those tires on the dirt this year. So
right.
it's nice. nice.
Okay. Your family racing, FNG Racing, 2011 was it. Last year was rocking for you guys. You did continue to drive your mom's car, and you painted it.
Yes.
Was she upset about that?
She wasn't. She was ready. Yeah, the year before. See, I'm all confused already. So I didn't win in 2010. 2011 is when I won my championship. 2010, Eric Romero won the championship, and I got second.
Okay,
so
there we go. Let's flip that around.
Yeah, flip it around. I'm like, 2011 is when we had the great success. But we did end up painting the car over the winter finally to a like a navy bright blue, like a Coors Light Keystone blue. Hint for the beer cans that are on it. And we wanted to come up with some kind of cool little logo saying slogan
kind of deal. Yeah.
I was like, I'm all about the funniness, so I'm like, okay, what can we do? And at the time, on the Keystone cans, they were all having a smooth and smoother moment, and they would have different kind of jokes and stuff. So I was like, I wonder how we can incorporate this on my race car. So we made a smooth and smoother racing slogan, and so it said smooth to win a heat race, and smoother to win a main race.
Hey.
So it kind of worked out well, and I think that year we ended up winning, I probably think 7 or 8 heat races, 7 or 8 main races. So it was a good success for us.
Now let me ask you this: a lot of people kind of are in the idea of if you feel good, you look good, you play good, you race good. Is it the same concept in racing?
For me, no. I don't know. It's nice to have, the nice flashy cars, but it just depends on how you drive them.
Okay.
This year, we didn't do anything to my car. It's a little banged up. It's seen a little bit of action between me and Eric Romero last year a couple times. So it's a little banged up, but I'm like, why spend the money if it's still running good? So...
Don't fix it if it's not broken.
The engine's not broken, so it's okay that it's a little beat up. So every dent has a story behind it.
It's interesting you keep bringing up Eric Romero. Is that your main competition?
He is my main competition. It is. Like it always seems, no matter where we're at on the track, we always end up getting tangled up one way or the other. So, and I think it comes back from 2010 when I think we separated the championship by 4 points or something. It was extremely close. It came all the way down to the last race. And so it's kind of built up from there. And we got in a couple accidents this last year together, which added fuel to the fire. And so we're hoping to put that all behind us and start a new season this year. We're both running the asphalt and the asphalt and the dirt. So hopefully it'll be a good season. We'll start over fresh and let bygones be bygones, but we'll see as it goes on.
Yeah. So the transition between asphalt and dirt, they're both racing, but they're very different. Tell us a little bit. Do you have previous dirt experience?
I haven't. We went a couple times 2 years ago and played out at the dirt track in Grants, just to go out with a couple of our friends one weekend. We took all the mini stocks and went out over there just to see what it was like. So I don't have a whole lot of experience on the dirt, but it was okay. We ran the 28th when we raced, was fine. I ended up winning our heat race. So, it felt good. It's really bumpy. The bumps are killer. The dirt is something I have to get used to. It was really dusty out there, so it was a little hard to see at times driving. So time will tell, but it is way different. I like it because you don't have to do the figure 8. We didn't have to cross over. There's only one track. So unlike the mini stocks and the asphalt, we got to do the figure 8, and it gets a little crazy. So and the dirt seems a little rougher. The drivers,
sliding all over
at least
the place?
not in our class. Well, it was pretty dry, so we didn't slide a whole lot.
Too much? Okay.
But they're fast. It seems like it's just a whole different experience.
You would think,
there.
Being on dirt's a little slow because it's dirt. There's some friction. There's some,
You would think so. They got it packed
bumps.
down. Yeah, when you're in the middle and you got that line, it's pretty fast out there. So time will tell how it goes. And a lot of the drivers in our dirt class now for the Hornets, they are asphalt drivers too. I think a lot of us followed over.
So you see a lot of crossover happening now. There's more and more crossover.
Correct.
Back let's say 10 years ago, everybody was track specific. Now It's kind of back and forth.
Correct. At least for the Hornet class, their NAPA is actually offering a dual track championship title. I think what they're going to call it for the Hornet class. So I think there's going to be 7 races that if you run the same car, you're eligible to compete in this dual track championship. So I think that's probably why we see a lot of them. We'll see how many actually come out because Saturday will be our first asphalt race.
Okay.
So we'll see exactly.
Did you take part in the 28th dirt race or no?
I did.
Oh, and,
I did.
and
yes.
how, that was a little crazy.
It was
a few wrecks.
It was a few wrecks. One of our mini stocks, or the Hornet class, Fred, ended up hitting the wall that day, but he, didn't walk away. But he went to the hospital, stayed for observations, ended up being okay.
Okay.
So it was a little crazy. So he was one of the people that raced asphalt and dirt, brand new on the dirt. So there's a little bit of learning for all of us to do. So it's nice.
A learning curve, yeah.
Yeah, and my dad is gonna race the dirt side with us, and my sister's racing the dirt class with us on this Hornet side. So it's gonna be nice.
What color is your car in the dirt?
My dirt car is black.
Okay.
It's a black one. It's my dad's old car from last year. So it's a 96 Honda Accord.
Okay.
And I just wasn't sure I wanted to take my blue car out there.
You were ready to dub it.
My blue car has been so good to me, and the motor's doing good. We haven't had any mechanical problems, so I was very timid.
We'll keep it to where it's working nice and smooth.
Exactly. So I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to try for the championship for the dual track, because you have to run the same car. So I might. Who knows? I might just end up running. Obviously, I ran the black car, so I might end up just running the black car on the asphalt. I don't know. We'll figure out by Saturday.
We'll see, yeah. Now, Now, tell me a little bit about your thoughts on the transition from Sandia Motorsports Speedway to NAPA. I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
I think it will be good once the racing season starts and we see some of the changes. Obviously, with the ticket prices increasing, they're going to have to show our fan base that it's worth them, paying the $15. And it's nice that they do have the coupon offer at the Napas. Everybody can go by a Napa store and grab a $5 off coupon. So I think, $15 even to come see a great show as long as it's fast and it's good pace. Exciting, I think will be good. With the dirt, on the dirt side, they have to figure out a way to keep some of that dust down because it was a little crazy, dusty. And there's little kids out there. My kids are 6 and 4, and they're like, I can't see, and I'm like, well, we live in the desert, so of course it's going to be dusty, but
you just
hopefully they can figure out a little bit.
Maybe wet it down a little bit more.
Something, yeah. I'm like, I'm no dirt expert, but something to figure out. Something to figure out so the dust is not blowing extreme, because it was unsafe for the drivers at times, especially
because the dust would come up, you can't see.
Or a car's not running that line. You can't control the cars in front of you. Car gets off, runs high. There's dust.
Bam!
I'm like, I can't even see who's in front of me. So as we gain more experience, and as the weather hopefully helps, or Napa, hopefully the dust will get under control. But I think it's a good thing. I think Jim Guthrie is going to do a great job out there, to help facilitate some of the problems, and we'll see as we get going on the races and see how it actually turns out.
Racing does have a really huge history here in New Mexico. With Unsers and all these other people, Jim, of course. This racing, it lives here, but it seems though people aren't really. They're kind of, they know, but then there's some people out there that really don't know we have racing here. Yeah. And it's like, you guys, how do you not know?
And I think it's true. I think a lot of it is the track location. We're way out there on Paseo del Bocan. So unless you've been out there or you've been to the prison or the jail out there, you probably haven't ever seen it. It's not as centrally located as, it could be, but obviously it's been there forever. A good 15 years. But I think, hopefully with the new NAPA sponsor and getting the word of mouth, and, I know they're really trying with the car shows, and Brenda's really been, trying to promote it and stuff. But I think you bring about very valid points. I'm a school teacher, and not a lot of them, even at my school, until I had told them, are they seeing my race car in the parking lot? They're like, where do you race at? We didn't even know there's racing. So I don't think, it's going to get exposure, but it's something we're going to have to work on.
Time, but it's going to,
It's just trying to get all those different class of people.
Well, I think this year, especially because we're going to have NASCAR this year.
Exactly.
I think that's going to make this thing happen.
Correct.
I think it's going to get people out there to the racetrack and be like, hey, we have racing in New Mexico, folks.
I think so. I think, you give them a good little, promo discount, give them, you can get people out there, give them a little coupon, something to encourage them to get out there and watch this NASCAR race. That should be exciting. They have the monster trucks out there once a year or twice a year. So, little things like that, getting some decent priced food, making it a family event, I think will most definitely help. And, making the races fast. We can't have an hour intermission.
We have to be quick. Back to back.
Correct.
Go.
Because, nobody wants to be out there till 11 o'clock
at night
waiting for the races. Because, of course, there's going to be crashes. Of course, there's going to be oil in the track.
It's unpredictable.
It's going to happen. So we need to keep, when we have that time for intermission, we got to keep it snappy so that everybody can, keep going. Yeah. But I think Napa's going to be good. I think it's going to do really well for the track, and it'll be interesting to see where we are at the end of the year.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned you're a school teacher. Where do you teach at?
I teach over at Lowell Elementary by the pit. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How long have you been teaching over there?
I've been teaching over there now this is my 6th year.
Cool.
So, yeah.
You love being a teacher? You're a teacher and a race car driver.
I know.
What do your students have to say about that?
I know. It's funny because I'll take my car sometimes. I got to cover up the stuff on it. But sometimes I'll take my car to school because I'm taking it to the racetrack or something, and they're like, Miss Gallegos, let me see your car. Where are you going? Do you have a race this day? Or some of them actually even went out there and seen it. So
cool.
It's kind of fun. That you always have to answer the question at the beginning of the staff meetings. Oh, tell us something interesting about yourself. Well, my racing always shocks everybody, so it's kind of cool. I have a picture of me.
You got the shock factor going, I tell you.
I'm like, let me show you some pictures. So I have a picture of my race car inside my office and stuff, so it's kind of fun. It's a nice, unique thing that the kids are like,
Yeah, they probably go home, my teacher's
a race car driver. And it's funny because then the parents will see my car in the back, and I'm like, everybody knows, there's Patricia's car. She must be going somewhere. Or I have somebody else's car on the back of it going to the Speedway with 5 cars. Can't have 5 trailers, so we always got to transport. So
that is cool, but that's cool. I mean, you have how many kids do you have? You have
I have 2. I have a boy, Zachary, that's 6. That's a kinder. And I have a girl, Isabella, that's 4.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Are they going to continue the family tradition of racing?
Oh, I bet you. Isabella is the grease monkey. She loves going with my dad
They're already
to work.
racing their little Tykes car.
Oh, at the shop, they're already on their stools racing around. They love to go for the race car ride. Hopefully, my son will they tried out at the dirt the go-kart track to try to get him in the dirt, the go-kart. Yeah. So hopefully, if not, he's 4, so he has a couple more years, and then we could maybe get a bando for him, or something, because that's, it's fun. And my brother, Andy, he has 3 kids as well, and his boy, Brandon, is just as excited about racing, so I think it'll be continue with this F&G racing, because we know we got 3 exciting kids, and maybe the other 2 will want to follow as well. So
yes, so this year you're hoping for back-to-back championships.
I'm hoping to pull it off. We'll see. I'm hoping it'll be another great year, a run for our money, but I would love to do a back-to-back repeat. So
yeah, and one more time, let's go ahead and run down on time here, but let's go ahead and give your sponsors a plug one more time.
Perfect.
I mean, that's important.
Oh, it is. I'm like, without them, I could not be out there. So my main sponsor, of course, is MasterTech Automotive with my parents, Andrew Michelle Thauner. We have Advanced Business Design, which does all of our graphics for us. And we also have Central Paint and Body that helps us if we ever, need that pulling of the fender or the frame or, depending on what happens that night. So it's great. But, my main one is, of course, my parents and my dad's business, MasterTech. So it's great.
And hopefully your husband will come to the dark side,
and hopefully we're going to get my husband. I know. My sister-in-law always gives him a hard time because we're always trying to get him to come out. I'm like, come on, Fernando, come race. And he's like, I got to go play softball. So we're going to hope to make him come.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm like, he's going to have to come out. So, he likes, coming to watching, but he doesn't like to stay for the whole thing. So we're going to try to get him from the dark side this next year and see if we get him into a car.
Yes.
See if we can get him into a car. So
there we go. All right. We are out of time here today, but Patricia Gallegos, number 19. We're excited. Thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm excited to go out there. I will be out there the 12th, so I will be watching. I'll be watching, checking you out, watching you race against these.
Awesome. It should be exciting. We haven't been on the asphalt in a couple of weeks. We went for practice in the winter, so we're excited to see everybody out there.
Get back out there and rock it out.
Perfect. Hopefully everybody comes out and sees us. And we have a great big crowd, and I look forward to seeing everybody on the 12th at 6:30.
And then you're on the line. Anybody want to find more info on you?
I'm on Facebook. You can friend me at Facebook, Patricia Gallegos, or there's a link on the NAPA website that has all the driver information on it for us.
Sweet.
Yes.
That sounds good. So we're out of time here today. So Patricia Gallegos, number 19, thank you so much again. I'm excited. And remember, get out to the racetrack. Opening day, May 12th for asphalt. It's going to be That's going to be butt-kicking action.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting.
Oh,
Hopefully
yes.
It's great weather. I can't wait. I hope to see you guys all there.
Yes, sirree. So make sure you get your tickets at napaspeedway.com and get all your info right there. It's real easy. So thank you for tuning in to the third episode of the NAPA Speedway podcast, brought to you by McKernan Sports and Entertainment here on the Mix Media Network. Remember, catch this show and other shows on demand on the website at themixmedianetwork.com. themixmedianetwork.com. I'm your host, Andres T, and I'm signing you out.